Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Francisco Rubalcava Jr., and this is Real Estate Jerky. How's it going, sir?
Good. How's it
Yeah.
going for you?
Yeah, hopefully we're done with the weather for a few days. I'm tired of this rain already. I'm done.
Right. No, I think we'll be clear for like the rest of this week.
Who knows? It said
Yeah.
that last week, and next all of a sudden there's some river coming through, storm or whatever. And my problem is we're not capturing in this water, so we'll be in a drought next year or this year.
No, I mean it's crazy too how hot the summers have been getting.
Actually, it hasn't really been that hot in our summers last year.
Really?
Yes, we normally go to 112.
Right.
We haven't done that in a while. We normally have like so many days of over 100, and last year we've had less the last couple of years.
No, for me, I don't know.
You're just listening to
the
the newspaper and everybody else out there saying it's climate control, which climate issue is going on, but we have other issues. So
yeah. No, I mean more for me, it's just like anything above like 95. I'm like,
you're in the wrong place, dude. Get over the bay if you want to.
Right, get it nice and chill. No, it's I think it's crazy too saying about all this all the crazy water that we've been getting and everything, and especially areas like I have a cash buyer I'm helping out right now, and she's wanting to she's kind of going through a divorce, everything, and she's gonna be just by herself, so she's trying to like figure everything out, and then we were running numbers and everything, and the whole insurance thing. I mean, she was calling like Geico and all of her normal people, and they're all pulled out, and they're saying like just sticking with local. But I mean, for a lot of the times, it just seems like I feel like Safeco's been one of the one, and I think you were saying that they're going to be
not
leaving.
writing anymore. Yeah, they're not writing. Mercury has been writing Mercury Insurance, and because I ran into this up in Tuolumne County where the local rep had Mercury, which beat the people down here that I use, which I don't care where they go. I'm just trying to help. And the people down here I was talking to, like, well, they haven't got hit with their increase yet by that they have that they went in for the increase in their rates. Well, so they're still beating everybody out. Well, there you go. So try Mercury.
Yeah.
The people, I don't know who you use. We'll talk afterwards. I don't know who but I just send them to a local guy that I know through my Rotary just to help out as they go up there to see who can get it done first and cheaper and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the carriers, I think we talked last week, another couple of them pulled out last week.
Yeah.
No, it's just going to be this way until our state helps them out.
Yeah.
They're helping everybody else out, except for us.
Well, I think, also, I don't know. It's like we've been saying, right? Like how right now we've been kind of stagnant with the interest rates where they're not really doing much. I think they got like a little bit worse, right? But
they got like since Friday a lot worse.
Where are they at right now?
I don't want to talk about it. I want to cry. Let's see. So today's Tuesday. Friday we lost almost 30 basis points, and then yesterday we had alert to lock, which means it got up to 50 basis points drop, and then it got a little bit better, and then it went to 47. So yeah, but here's the thing. It's because I almost said Greenspan. It's because the current Fed guy, that's how long I've been doing this when I almost say Greenspan. He stated over the weekend on 60 Minutes that they're not going to drop rates in March, and they're probably not going to do it again in May or June when they meet again. So that just put everything on halt. Like, oh my goodness, this is not as bad as we think it is. And then Monday, people are coming out with more layoffs.
Yeah.
But there's still a sense with a third of the people out there that everything's good. And I said the other day, which I got in trouble for, but I think I'm like, if you work for the government, if you're, that includes city, state, federal, you're good.
Yeah.
And how many people work for those people? Probably a third. So they're all good. Yes, it's more expensive to buy stuff, but they have a secure job. If you're in our industry, a business owner, there is no security. You have security because you own the company and stuff like that. But we get hit constantly with the costs increasing, other things going on that we have no control over. They don't have the same thing. Their income is steady. They don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And they're not laying off in those fields.
Well, I think they're still like a good, you know what I mean? Because, and
no, I don't know. They're good. Answer the statement, dude.
Well, like what I'm saying too is like, I think that there's a lot of other jobs out there too that I don't know. I have me personally within like my sphere of people that I help and everything like that. I haven't seen a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people losing their jobs or like
I
getting
haven't
laid off.
either. I just hear about it. All the tech
Right.
companies are starting to lay off.
Mm. So I think, well, I think that there's been, especially when you think about tech and then all the integrations with AI and stuff, right? Like I think that's where there's like a huge calling still for like, a bunch of like blue collar workers, right?
Well, the AI is going to fill in for all the people jobs that they can't fill, that nobody wants. AI will take care of. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to help us drastically with what we do, but it helps me with my editing and everything else. But it's going to, the jobs where people get so much per hour and they want so much more per hour, and then it just doesn't make sense because it's too costly. Those are going to be taken over more and more by AI. They're already drive-through AIs.
Yeah, no, I went to Taco Bell the other day to just get a quick bite, and I walked inside and there's a guy like waiting for his food or whatever, and I just naturally walk up to the front counter.
Yeah.
And not even the employee said anything. The guy told me. He was standing there. He's like, he just pointed and he's like, yeah, you got over there.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife loves that because her order is always right.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Is I think we've spoken about, and many times we've said, it's really important to try to continue to grow, right? And to always seek, better for yourself whenever, you think about it. Like a lot of the times it's like we say, right? Like some of those jobs that, like you said, people aren't wanting because of the pay or whatever, like they're not supposed to be seen as these long-term, positions, right?
Well, they weren't in the past.
Yeah.
Keep going. Was there anything you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, you got other places too, though, like In-N-Out, where they kind of, I've helped.
There's
out
no
people.
AI in In-N-Out, dude. There's no way to do AI in In-N-Out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is like I have quite a few people actually that I've helped that, do well actually. But I think it depends, right? Like on the company, and right there, I think it's really intensive, labor intensive, right? Like there's those people are like literally like machines themselves.
Yeah, well, they do it a lot. It's all new. All fresh, everything else. I'm not, and, there's certain places that's not going to affect, but you're not going to be able to own a home on those jobs, except for some. There are some people in and out. They will. The managers, the other people who oversee setting them up. I've helped a few of them. And they make a lot of money.
Yeah, no,
but again, it's just long term. Where is this going? What is? The health industry. If you can get into help, medical, that kind of stuff, you'll always have a job.
Right. There's a huge calling for it. And I think there's so many people too that, as I've noticed, as time goes on and on, people are finding it more and more difficult to spend 4 to 8 years in school, because it is pretty harsh. I mean, especially, if you're not working somewhere and you're all on your own, education, everything has gotten so expensive too.
Trades. Go to trades. There's a South Park. Have you ever seen the show?
Yeah.
There's an episode where the tradespeople are multimillionaires because nobody learned how to do trades, and so these guys are the only ones left, and they make so much money because nobody learned how to do it. Sounds kind of like where we are right now.
Well, it's like it's one of those things too. I actually had, and there's even like trade school options for entries into the medical field too. Like I know,
yeah, but they don't make as much.
Right. But it gets your foot in the door at least. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to start at least building up that resume.
We're 650,000 trades short nationwide.
Yeah.
That's huge. That means you can make a lot of money getting into trades. Now, if you're going to go in the medical field, become a nurse. They make the best money for the amount of time in school.
Yeah. No, I know. I had a client who was an RN, and I mean, they only work like 3 days, 4 days.
Everything's different for them, but you're right. They do. They can do 3, 10, 4 day, 4 10s, 3 12s, whatever it is. I know one guy that worked in an ER, and he worked 24 hours was a shift a week, but they pulled him in for the weekend every weekend, every other, and he made like 400,000 net to himself 1 year.
That's crazy.
And he was, because his contract was only for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So everything was overtime, double time, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's where like you see a lot of business owners come out of it too, right? Where like they, on those extra days, they have time to devote to like something else too. Like my my client, I mean, he was parenting during that time. That's a job in itself. He
Mhm.
had two little boys, and yeah, I think it's something great to strive for. And I think that while it is expensive, there are opportunities out there. You just got to really look for it, and like get the help with grants or whatever it is.
Yeah, but don't do 100,000 to go to a certain school just to get a BA from there in basket weaving and whatever, that this degree you think you're going to need, because you're never going to be able to pay it off.
That's the tough part. Yeah.
I had somebody the other day trying to buy something and she has 114,000 in student loans.
And then the interest applied on it too,
Well, that just,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think, nonetheless, I mean, the whole job situation again, I just personally, I don't see it that much where I feel like, I mean, at least within our market, right? Where I don't think it's impacting us heavily here.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't really affected us yet. It's still coming, and they're saying the recession's not coming. It's going to be a soft landing, but you never know. There still could be some other issues happening,
Right.
We just need a good war.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? It's like, that's why
how that works to get, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like, you think COVID, right? Like a huge disastrous thing, right? And that's where I tell people, I literally tell them, I'm like, for us to be at what people thought was the norm of like 3% or something, I was like, yeah, we have to go to war or some kind of like catastrophe.
And we still, if we go, we're not going to get back to, we're double where the rates used to be, and we're not going to get back to 3%. We're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And for people to think we're not, and we're not going to get out of this tightness of homes anytime soon. And people are trying to tell everybody, go, buy my course to buy passive income with real estate. You can do this, you can do this. Yes, you can, but everybody who's selling what they're doing did over the last 15 years. What's the difference in the last 15 years versus the next 15 years?
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things as well, is like right now, like a lot of the investors that I was helping, they're staying kind of silent right now. They're not really doing much. Because,
well, not in California anyway.
Right.
In other states, they're still buying, in other places.
A lot of it is, I mean, I know a lot of people have been going to like Texas, right? And like still buying.
Actually, they're going to other places than there.
Like where have you seen
Midwest, Tennessee, places I wouldn't want to live, but they're doing, it's all about cash flow. They're all cash flowing over there where you're not cash flowing here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like the prices of duplexes and all that stuff, it's just through the roof, and their rents are so low, it just doesn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a really long time since I've seen one.
Because they haven't raised the rents. They need to raise the rents on all of them.
Right.
And they can't do it now right away, right? They got to do it a special way. But like, I've been talking to a few people because I do a lot of interviewing for other shows and stuff. And I was talking to a dude in Cleveland, and he was talking about how it cash flows there and they buy there, but it's not the appreciation. They don't get the appreciation. They just get the cash flow. And that's what it's all about. Where other places like New York and where we were, where we are here, cash flow is good, but at first you might be negative and you go for the appreciation or whatever, but that's not how you're supposed to do real estate long-term.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. I mean, you're going to have it, long-term either way. You might as well have it making you that money every time. That's where it is hard. I mean, for a lot of these investments that I see now, it's going to be at least 2 or 3 years before you're actually positive.
Right. You got to be careful with what you're doing. So and the reason I said, what's the difference in the last 15 years? Well, a lot of these people start buying in 2010, which, excuse my language, but shit was cheap.
Yeah.
And now it's increased so much, and they have all this equity from what they're doing. That was a perfect storm that they came into and whatever. And they've been buying over this period of time, and they have a lot of stuff, and now they're selling their things. So you can do the same thing. The difference is back then we had a lot of properties, and then you keep going forward. We still had a lot of properties. They went up in price, and you still could get stuff. Going forward for the next 15 to 20 years, we're not going to have a lot of properties. We're going to have people fighting for the same properties. It's going to be difficult for people to buy their first home, let alone their second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth. So a lot of these people are getting out of single family homes and going into apartment complexes and stuff like that, which there's a huge thing in that coming. And I don't want to get into it on the show right now, but it's going to be different. So be very careful signing up for some of these programs and then thinking that you're going to get rich unless you talk, you really just take a step back before you do it and talk to a few people.
Yeah. No, maybe we could talk about it on Thursday.
I don't know if we'll have enough time to get it all together.
Right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do, and then
worst case next week if we need to go more in depth on it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm just saying, just be careful. If you're going to invest, investing in real estate is a long-term game, not a short-term.
Definitely. I couldn't have said it any better. That's really, the biggest thing is that people need to understand. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad investment, even if you're not making money right away. I think, even I always give people the example. I mean, which savings account is going to make you those kinds of returns where, let's say, for example, your payment's 3,500 and you're paying, you're only making 3,300. That's still good. Over time, I mean, it gets somewhere. And that's the thing is, especially if you want to be investing in our area, things aren't going to be going down. So, get in when you can.
No, it's not going down pretty much anywhere. I mean, and even, someone said that Tuolumne County was down 4%. Ooh.
Yeah,
I don't
where
I could potentially see that it slowed down a little bit, and you know what I mean, for a little bit, but then Vegas was too, but they're on the way back up. It's not going to stay down for that long. That's a lot of new homes took it in the shorts for about 6 months, but then now they're back and going even higher. So just be careful. That's all I got to say. Don't listen to everybody because they don't always know what they're talking about. Be careful. That's all I got to say. Only listen to Francisco or myself. All right. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, Francisco, for being here. Tell them your number so they can get a hold of you because they can get a hold of me. I'm Ed Parcaut everywhere.
Thank you. Yeah, no, if you want to reach out, have any questions, concerns, whatever it may be, my phone number is 209-493-2400.